We're spending the next 10 days in Cambodia, from Siem Reap, Phnom Penh, and an incredible island paradise we didn't even know existed. So join us as we take in the breathtaking wonders of Angkor Wat, find some delicious dumplings in the Phnom Penh laneways, and cruise the mighty Mekong River. To make our awesome time in Cambodia more accessible, we've combined all of our travel vlogs into one Cambodia mega vlog, with some extra never-before-seen bits mixed in along the way. So sit back with your drink of choice as we explore the world's friendliest country. But first, we need to get there.
We've been taking overland transport all around the world for the past 3 years. We've seen the good and the cripplingly bad.
And I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Today, we booked on what we thought was a simple one-way journey across a border.
Cambodia!
We had no idea it would make it into our top 3 bus experiences of all time. Good morning from the loud streets of Bangkok. We've been here for the last week catching up on work, but this morning we are traveling to a brand new country that neither of us have ever been to. A huge incentive of traveling this region of the world is just how easy it is to move between the countries. You can hop on a bus and like 8 hours later, you're in a totally different area.
As Australians, where you could drive for 8 hours and still be in the same state, this is a very big deal for us.
Today, we are catching the giant Ibis bus, 8 hours and 400 kilometers from Bangkok to Siem Reap in Cambodia. And we'll be finishing this video when we check into our hotel a stone's throw away from the ancient city of Angkor. We try to do land crossings wherever we can, partly because you see a lot more of the country that you're in rather than just flying from point A to point B and missing everything. Also, to get this flight, it was an AirAsia $350 with bags, and this bus is only like $120, so saves us a lot of money as well.
Super quick seat tour before we start going.
Ladies and gentlemen, our trip will delay 5 minutes more because one more passenger still not coming, so I hope you understand that. And after 5 minutes more, she or he's not coming, and we will leave.
Brutal. We have a 5-minute delay because someone is late apparently. The seats are super plush, so this is a bus that is a 2-1 configuration, which means that we all have a little bit extra space. They're like nice leathery, they seem quite new. Everyone seems to have a tray table, a drink holder, and like a little, what do you call that? Like a net thing where you can store some drink bottles. There's also USB outlets between the armrests and another drink holder there. Plus, they recline so much more than I thought they would. The overhead luggage cabin is quite small, so we both have our bags by our feet, but honestly, with the amount of legroom you have, it's really not that big of a deal.
There also seems to be quite comprehensive air and light control above us.
Yes. Would you like a latte or a espresso?
Latte.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's like the best idea for a morning bus to give you a coffee. Yay! We've never had that before, I don't think, on a bus. Maybe actually Turkey, they gave us coffee. I haven't had one this morning, so I'm very excited about this.
Thank you.
Jordan actually ran to the 7-Eleven to spend the last of our Thai baht to buy some snacks for this journey because we didn't think we'd get anything. But a coffee and a croissant. No complaints here.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the first, my name is Supana. I am your crew attendant, and right now I would like you to fasten your seatbelt all together.
So, as Australians, we get a visa on arrival in Cambodia, which is about $30. I think with Ibis though, you pay a little bit more. I think it's $35 or $40, and you don't leave the bus.
We just sit here, and they're going to take care of it. They'll take our passports, the money.
Issue is, I spent all my Thai baht, so we have to get an ATM in one of the towns we stop at and withdraw everything.
He doesn't seem stressed about that though.
He seems very calm. Yeah.
Apparently there's an ATM at one of the stops, so
Yeah.
hopefully it's got money in it.
Look, there better be. Alright, so the bus left about 10 minutes late because they were waiting on those last people to get to us. And the first stop happened at 11:20. So it's a little bit over 2 hours before there's the first stop, which is important because there are no toilets on board. So you need to be prepared for that. Also, this first stop, he's told me this is where I can withdraw some money.
There is plenty of options for eating or drinking here, including a 7-Eleven. There's also toilets. The women's section is all squatty potties, but there is a disabled toilet that had a Western bathroom. And remember to bring your own toilet paper because they generally don't have it.
Okay, so learn from our mistakes. We used the ATM. I thought there was only two, and I tried them both. They had a minimum of 1,000, 2,000, or 5,000. Now we needed 3,000, and I was like, that's clearly the only ones here, and I withdrew 5,000. Now we have way too much. We have to suffer the exchange rate again when we go to Cambodian Rial, but on the way out I found these two ATMs. This one doesn't let you do 3,000, this one does. So if there's two of you traveling and you need ATM, come to this purple one, so don't withdraw more than you need to withdraw like us.
I know that we have one more stop for a toilet break at some point, plus the border stop. I'm not sure which one's next. I think maybe another toilet break, because we're still quite far from the border.
There are a couple of different companies you can book this route with, but we chose Ibis Bus because these seats are probably the most plush there are on the market. You can book it on the Ibis website directly. You can also go to the Ibis Bus depot and book it in person in their little office, but we like to book things through Want2Go Asia purely for the ease of it and having like an open line of communication with someone just in case something goes wrong. To be honest, it did cost more than booking direct, but not that much more, and to me, it's completely worth it. It's a peace of mind thing. About an hour left and we'll be at immigration. So, before we get to the border, we're actually doing our visas at the consulate before we even get there. I think that makes it so much easier, but he said that this is the last place that's good to go to the toilet because at the border there's just so many people and the toilets aren't very good. Last opportunity, better take it. Also, he came around on the bus and gave us these little border passes, so I think we're getting like some sort of VIP push-through service.
I just feel very fancy. Like, this is what I imagine, although I guess celebrities aren't like catching buses. This is what I imagine they feel like at the airport. You know how they get taken to like TSA security that's like different from everyone? That's what I feel like.
They also took our passports on the bus, so we don't even have to worry about carrying our passports through, and they're getting our visa on arrival now.
We should do every border crossing like this. This is my life at every border crossing. My brain is empty. I don't know where we're going or where we've been. But for Jordan, this is quite a new experience.
It feels really good.
Isn't it nice to be like the passenger princess?
Complete trust.
Yeah. Someone else is worrying about the details.
Your visa is ready. And for the visa, can stay 1 month in Cambodia.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thailand. Cambodia.
Or Colombia, as Emily was saying.
This is our
43rd country that we visited together.
We're in. Hot in Cambodia. We just hopped back on the bus after crossing the border to fried rice and a cold water. We should always cross borders like this.
We got to the border at like 1:20, and by 2 o'clock we were through and back on the bus ready to go. Super efficient. I don't know whether it was because of the necklaces that we were given, but it was really easy. And now it's 2 or 3 hours and we're into Siem Reap. We are at our last 10-minute stop on the Cambodian side. First one on the Cambodian side, and after this, we are at our final destination in Siem Reap.
Yay! About a half an hour and we'll be in Siem Reap.
We need to talk about this hotel, but first let's recap this bus. It was fantastic. Great ibis. Big ibis? Giant ibis.
It was so good that I want to book them again because they also go to Phnom Penh and I think into Vietnam.
They do, and that's kind of where we're heading, or we're heading in that direction, so we might be booking them multiple times again.
Because I feel like I had a great day.
Yeah.
But I spent the entire day on a bus. Like,
Yeah.
those two things should not be true at the same time.
We should be exhausted and hurting, but we both feel like full of energy, which is just
unheard of.
like if you watch any of our other bus videos, you'll see us as zombies after. But this one, could have done that overnight, no
Yeah.
issues.
And then we get to this hotel.
We are in another level of luxury here, and we understand that. Sometimes we don't stay in this level of luxury.
The room we are staying in, absolute chef's kisses. The whole property is like garden oasis.
Yeah, a spa, like
It
2 pools.
smells amazing. The shampoo, conditioner, tea, it's all made locally. The water bottles that you get.
Full, refillable, sustainable water bottle. Like this is the kind of place that walks the talk.
Walks the walk.
Will you talk the walk, walk the talk?
No, because people only talk the talk, they don't walk the walk.
It's the kind of place with integrity that does what it says it's gonna do.
Now we're all excited, but we've got to go get cash out because we have an early morning tomorrow.
I know we just went on and on about this hotel, but did we mention they have a complimentary tuk-tuk for the city centre? Our awesome driver even took us on a little tour around Siem Reap and past Pub Street. We will definitely have to come back tomorrow. Okay, now we have cash, it's time to get some sleep and set the alarms for 4 a.m.
Good morning from a very early Siem Reap.
I was yawning that whole time.
It's just gone 5 a.m. and we're doing the one thing you're supposed to do when you come to Siem Reap. We are visiting the ancient archaeological park of Angkor. So there are multiple ways to see Angkor Wat when you're here. The biggest one is obviously go on a group tour, and a lot of people go on these group tours that kind of shuffle you around for 8 hours of the day. Second one is actually to ride bikes. So bicycles can get you there.
We were so close to doing it.
Close. And like it's decently far away for a bike, but compared to Siem Reap, like it feels like you're almost in Siem Reap when you're that close. And the third way is to hire your own tuk-tuk driver, which is what we've got to do today. So we can kind of control where we want to go and also how long we want to stay at each place. And I think it's going to be the best way to do it.
I think it also means that we might be able to see 1 or 2 extra temples than if we were on a push bike.
Plus the other benefit is rain protection. And yeah, when it's hot we get the breeze without having any effort. So I think we made the good choice. We're paying $25 for this.
As if we couldn't be more in love with our hotel, they had a coffee station because they know people are up this early.
How amazing. Also, I hope you can see and hear us because it's super dark and really windy.
Sunrise was beautiful. I feel like we got quite lucky with the colours. We were sitting on the far end of the pool, and I would say that 90% of people were super aware of everyone and quite respectful, quiet, not getting in anyone's pictures. The 10% though made me laugh so much. People would just stand right in front of people's cameras, were yelling, screaming, throwing rocks into the pool. So the serene image you saw, probably with nice, beautiful montage, isn't necessarily accurate. that this place was so precise and scientific when it was built. But in this main temple, the 4 main hallways are exactly lined up to north, south, east and west. How did they do that? I cannot believe you're just allowed to walk on something like this and touch it and be here. I don't know. It's like being at the pyramids. It blows my mind that you're allowed to touch the pyramids. It feels like you shouldn't.
So tickets online, $37 US. It's the same as if you come in person, but what you save is waiting in the ticket office. Instead, on your way to the Angkor Historical Park, there's a pull-off where they check tickets. So we just stopped there and we got in, no problem. Made it to the sunrise. We weren't first. We weren't alone. But it was beautiful, and I highly recommend it.
I think if you go into it like we did, knowing that there's going to be hundreds, if not more, people there with you, it's fine. It's if you came here with the expectation that I'm going for sunrise, no one else will really do that.
Yeah.
You would be very disappointed.
But it's great.
It's great. Everyone's loving it. Just in awe that we're here watching sunrise. Just a reminder, it is rainy season right now. Knock on wood. This is so nice. Bright blue skies. A little bit hot.
Another knowledge drop for you. I can see it. Emily is not okay on these. This moat here, that was obviously hand dug because it was almost 1,000 years ago, is 200 meters wide. Isn't that insane? Also, this is weird. You come in on this awesome historical bridge, and then when you leave, you're on this rafty floating thing.
Yeah, like we're at a water park.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Yeah, really nice.
So this complex, being as big as it is, has over 1,000 important sites, not just temples, but statues or viewing pools. There's all different sorts of stuff here, over 1,000 of them. The one we're going to today, or right now, just so happens to have been used in the Tomb Raider movie. It's a lot of people's favorite when they come here, not Angkor Wat, it's this one, so I have high expectations.
Now we're in the front of Thaprom Temple. It is a flat temple. It's easier than Angkor. Angkor Wat is a mountain temple because it's built on the pyramid shape actually, you can say. But this temple, it was a memorial temple, so it's a flat temple. But when you're right inside, it's so impressive.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that, you know, the nature will combine with the building. It's a ruin. You will love it. Enjoy your time.
Thank you.
Do not worry about the time.
Okay.
Take your time.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
I am so grateful that we made the decision to hire a tuk-tuk driver for the day because that took 20 minutes on a motorised tuk-tuk. It would have taken me 2 hours on a push bike and we would have been arguing so much. Instead, we're having a great day and we're in love still. We read online that most of the tours or groups go in a clockwise route from sunrise at Angkor Wat. So we decided to try going anti-clockwise in the hopes that we'll miss a lot of the big groups, or at least it'll be slightly quieter maybe. And we've come to the Tomb Raider temple. Everyone that we have heard come here has said that this has been their favourite and that it has a bit of a different atmosphere to Angkor Wat. This temple is also known as the Jungle Temple. I think we're getting a taste of that right now. I did not expect to be walking through the jungle to get there.
This makes you feel like you're the one discovering the tombs. They're so still reclaimed by nature. There's no artificial trying to help it or make it better than it is. Plants all the way through it, moss everywhere. This is unreal.
It just will never not blow my mind that you're allowed to come and visit and be on structures like this that are so ancient. The late 12th century this was built. We're just walking on it. What?
You can't get much more reclaimed by nature than having a giant tree sticking out of your head.
This is nuts. We're here alone. This is the move. Oh my goodness. I love that they're just letting nature reclaim this slowly, so much so that they're helping it. This tree root is so huge that they've had to prop it up. I get why this is everyone's favourite. There's someone yelling, so it's ruining it a little bit. But there's a different atmosphere here. It's very chill and very nature.
Different energy.
This one definitely feels a lot more... Oh, no access. We were just in there. There wasn't a sign on the other side. This one feels a lot more like a maze than Angkor. I feel like at Angkor you have a very defined path of possibilities. Whereas here it's sort of like you're just walking in the jungle and then all of a sudden you're in a temple and then you're jungle again. This has to be the most impressive nature meeting temple point. It's huge.
We've talked about being templed out before on this channel, like quite a lot. This place doesn't count. That has got to be the best temple I've ever seen in my life. Hands down, almost.
Wow. I agree. There's something about it, the fact that it's being like reclaimed by nature, that makes it even more beautiful.
Can confirm that you should be getting here as it opens at 7:30 if you want to do it justice, because we were almost alone and now it's busy, it's crazy. The walk in and out, there's so many people on this path.
And it's only 8:41.
Get here at 7:30. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you
Yeah,
so
that's
much.
brilliant.
If you want to have a break, let me know that.
Maybe coffee.
Yeah, maybe coffee. Okay, that's very good. Okay, see, you need to restore your energy.
Yes.
Exactly.
Early morning spend a lot of energy in there. Okay. You ready?
Ready.
One thing that you don't know is about Angkor. Angkor was the largest city in the world in the 12th century.
Wow.
And 13th century, we had 1 million people was living inside Angkor. Wow. We had big population already.
Huge, yeah.
Bigger than London.
Yeah, wow.
Crazy. So right across the road from where Roy brought us to breakfast, he's taken us to this temple here, and he told us along the way that it's made up of 4 different types of rock, and you can really see the difference, and they have different strength and how quickly they break down, and sandstone and something that was lava created as well. But it's architecturally very similar to the last one we were at.
If anyone knows what these are, can you please let us know in the comments? Because they've been in quite a few temples and it seems to always line up with a hole in the roof. So is it maybe for water? Collecting rainwater? I don't know. One of the things that Roy taught us today was how they got all of these rocks here, because 1 square meter weighs over a ton, I think he said. And where they got the sandstone from is 45?
Long time away.
Apparently the way they got it here was they man-made canals, and then they had a bamboo raft that they would float the block of sandstone on, and 4 elephants on either side of the canal pulled the bamboo raft down to here where the temples are.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Makes sense though. Like you get a bit of buoyancy, you get some strength from the elephants. Not gonna lie to you. Third temple, it's hot. It's getting to the point now where maybe we should go. But we got one more to see.
One more, but I also think that one is huge.
Yeah, the grounds it's on is the biggest one. And then we can go cool off. It's hot.
The ticket to get in, it's not cheap to visit Angkor Wat, especially when you compare it to other temples. But I will say you can really see where that money's going as far as conservation and protection of the area, as well as there's so many people here sweeping and keeping it clean for the tourists so there's no dusts or leaves that you're tripping over. We also haven't seen much rubbish at all, which is quite nice.
Bayon Temple. It's a core temple of Angkor Thom City. It's in the middle. Can see. This temple was built in 1181.
This is Bayu Temple. I think I'm pronouncing that probably incorrectly. But this is apparently a state temple. So kings were required to build a couple of different types of temples, and the state temple was basically about them for their longevity. And generally speaking, they tried to be bigger and grander than whichever king came before them. So this actually came after Angkor Wat, but it's smaller, and that's because the king didn't get into power until he was about 56 years old, and he wanted to see the temple complete by the time he was likely going to pass. Unfortunately, to this day, they don't think it's complete because there's still some carvings that haven't been completed. They're only sketches or outlines, so he never got to see his temple.
I guess these ones are not as deep as the ones when we first came in. They were super deep, and here it's super faded. It is just an outline. For context of where we are, if you're looking at a map of Angkor, we're in the biggest square in the temple that's right in the middle. So it's very, very central and giant. This is definitely the most maze-like temple we've been to. Small corners through all of it. No open spaces that we've seen yet. Interesting butterflies. Look like it. God, he's young.
Dropped on me. Oh, it's
Yeah, it's
maybe
raining.
lightly raining. I had not read or heard anything about that. Such a good unexpected surprise. Oh my gosh, that's nice. Not good for the camera though. The rains are here.
It's the best.
It's quite nice, but we have moved on to my iPhone because the camera will not enjoy this as much as we are. Hopefully my phone doesn't hate it either. On the way out, we saw so many monkeys and tiny little baby ones too. Ugh. Gosh, this is lovely.
There's currently a monkey separating Emily and I, and she is so scared.
That was scary. I'm running out of steam.
This is our last temple. It is actually older than Angkor. I think it's the 10th century and it used to be the housing for the royal family. The front here is all elephants, elephant statues, elephant depictions, and then you go up and it's where they used to live. I'm so tired.
Yeah. The heat's getting a bit much now. I think we're going to end it, go back to the hotel, cool off, and then to Pub Street. Okay, we spent the last couple of hours in our hotel cooling off in the pool, and now we're hungry.
So this is Pub Street. It is very aptly named. If you want a beer and you're in Siem Reap, this is the place to come. They're 75 cents for a glass, but we want to go to a restaurant a little bit away and it's starting to rain. Go back towards Pub Street.
Yeah, straight ahead.
Straight ahead?
So we're here.
Yeah. We're here.
Are we?
Yeah, we're at this cross. So we've got to go that way and then left.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Oh, cool.
So the reason Hannah and Trey came here initially is because they have heaps of TripAdvisor reviews. Oh, hello. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I can see why. They have a little scan to give us a TripAdvisor review. But they said the food was amazing. All the reviews say the food's amazing, so it's affordable. There's no better place that I know of.
For appetizers, we went with fried spring rolls and they look delicious. Super golden and look really crunchy on the outside. Hot. Oh my god. I feel hot. They are the fullest spring rolls I think I've ever had. And the outside is a really light coating, so it's fried and gotten super crispy. Thank you so much. So I went for fish amok, which I believe is actually the national dish in Cambodia. From what I've read online, amok basically refers to a dish that's been steamed in a banana leaf. The Khmer Empire, the people we've been learning about all day, this was a dish that their royals used to eat all the time, so it felt quite fitting to order this. Ooh. The fish is super tender, and then it's quite a creamy, almost maybe coconutty curry flavour.
I saw pineapple curry, and I've never ever seen pineapple curry in my life, and I love pineapple, so I had to try it. It's supposed to come with pork, but I actually substitute it for chicken because I'm a chicken sort of man. The chicken in here is cooked beautifully. A beautifully mild curry flavour with this sweetness from the pineapple. I'm actually going to try a big bit of pineapple because, yeah, it's like a roasted pineapple. Today was massive.
And I just am laughing at the idea that we thought we would ride push bikes around all day.
Yeah, if you're considering it, get that out of your brain. I'm sure that there is people that's going to be really fit and healthy and be able to do it in sauna temperatures, but for everyone else, just get a tuk-tuk.
It's so worth it, and if you don't know who to go with, we'll leave Roy's number in the description below because he was amazing, so knowledgeable and super kind.
And we're also going to leave the link to this hotel in the description below because it is literally the best hotel we've ever stayed in. It is stunning and it's so environmentally friendly as well. If you don't know what we're talking about, watch our last video because we rave about it.
But now we're going to turn in, get an early night because tomorrow's another big day going to the capital of Cambodia.
We're on our way to Phnom Penh.
You know we had to get a giant ibis bus again from Siem Reap to Phnom Penh. And there was only a handful of us on board, so I kicked Jordan off to the other side so we could spread out. No Southeast Asia bus would be complete without a lunch break, and because it's a travel day, we went super healthy.
Stop zooming in.
The bus takes around 6 hours. We just sat back, listened to podcasts, and watched the Cambodian countryside go by. Time to check into our hotel and get a good night's sleep because tomorrow we're exploring Phnom Penh.
fell in love with Siem Reap, but we feel like we only just scratched the surface of Cambodia. So before we head to Vietnam, we've come to the capital to explore that history and culture a little bit deeper.
We've heard it's impossible to appreciate Cambodia's resilience without diving into their quite painful past. So we're starting the day by doing something that we don't normally put in the vlogs.
$15, you have small money?
Thank you.
We've been told countless times that we need to come to the former S21 prison, which is now a museum. We've decided to both get the audio headset so we can truly immerse ourselves here and learn about what we're seeing.
We are not historical experts at all, but that feels like something you have to do if you come to Phnom Penh.
It's one thing hearing about or reading about the history, but actually being here where it happened, it's very heavy and very hard, but it is important.
I think if you want to learn a little bit more about what happened here in the 70s, we were recommended a movie that we watched on the bus over here. We'll link it in the description below. It's like the perspective of the local people when everything happened. It's, again, pretty heavy. Really glad we came though. It's a lot to digest, so I think we're just gonna go back to our hotel and decompress. After a relatively depressing start to the day, we wanted to see Phnom Penh and Cambodia in a different light, so we decided to book on a sunset cruise.
We had no idea these existed, but where we got dropped off on the bus from Siem Reap, they were all taking off from there. And as soon as we saw it, we both looked at each other and went, yeah, we have to do that.
Yeah, like we've been on the Mekong before, but we need to go on it again. Apparently cruising down rivers is something that we do now pretty frequently.
Unfortunately, the weather isn't currently on our side. We have our fingers and toes crossed that these dark grey clouds are gonna bugger off.
We'll see. Okay, we may not have picked the perfect day for it, but we did pick the perfect cruise because it is the cheapest option. There are countless boats that you can pick and different packages within those boats. We picked the plain basic one, and it was 15 Australian dollars per person to do this. It's a 90-minute cruise. That's pretty good. So this cruise, there are multiple different packages you can get, like I said, on the gangplank coming in, but the first one, the basic one, is just the cruise itself. So 90 minutes on the water, you get to go through the Mekong and the other local river, which I think we're on now. The next package up is just drinks included, which is unlimited, like beer and soft drink, which is pretty good. And then another $5 on top of that will get you the buffet too. So we went for the very basic one. So we ended up getting a drink, but if we only get 2, it still works out cheaper to get it on board than getting 3 on the package. If you do get here and you see everyone else drinking and you get really jealous, like I did, you can upgrade on board and it's the same price as if you were to buy it before you get here, so you can feel free to not make a decision until you get here. If you do want to do a la carte like we are, they're very nice about it, and they say you can pay at the end of the cruise. You can't go anywhere anyway. You're not going to run away.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No, you got the thrills for the pills. I like that. Oh, it's quite like fruity or lemony, something.
A little bit. You did brush your teeth.
Oh, maybe it's that. No, it has like an after flavour. Wow, oh my god, it tastes so different in Cambodia.
Colombia.
Got so lucky with the weather in the end. It's not raining and I feel like the clouds could give us a really nice sunset. I will say the food looks delicious, and if we didn't already have dinner plans, I think we would be upgrading and just having dinner on here, and we would have gone to the museum and gone to the river and that's it. One thing we agreed to this year was trying to have date nights while we're still on the road, and I feel like this is a pretty epic date night.
One super interesting fact about this river that we're on now, the Tonle Sap, is that twice a year it actually changes direction. So when it floods and the winter season comes in, the water starts moving back into the Tonle Sap Lake, and in the dry season it changes direction.
Now, but the night's only just beginning for us. We're doing one of our favourite things to do in any city we visit.
So, because we got the cheaper package that doesn't include meals, we are starving. Therefore, we are heading to find some food.
Whoa, that's slippery.
Yeah, almost fell over. Does that look like where it is?
Yeah. All right, we're off to find the night market. I will say the prices between Cambodia, specifically Phnom Penh, and like Thailand are quite different. We actually found it a little bit expensive here. The exception to that rule is Grab. Instead of cars here, it's all tuk-tuk, so it's a really reasonable price. And I think pretty much every trip we've taken so far has been like $2, $2.50, and this is no exception.
The one thing I can't figure out is you get the registration number, and I don't know where that is on a tuk-tuk.
20 minutes and like $2.20 later, we have made it to the Phnom Penh night market. This place is on most people's list of things you have to see when you come to Phnom Penh, and it's filled with souvenirs and clothes and apparently a section of food.
Yes, let's go there. This is so cool. It looks like a food market, but then in the middle there's just mats, so you can have a little picnic with everyone.
Too tall for here. Oh, sorry. That was a much smaller market than we anticipated. The food looked and smelled really good, but I think we're gonna try and go somewhere a little bit more higher rated. Also, I just had to get out of that market because my back was actually hurting about how much we had to duck.
If you were in the market for some genuine Ray-Bans or Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton, some Crocs, you could definitely get them there. Super authentic, I'm sure.
So, laneways in Phnom Penh, much like in Melbourne, Australia, they are taking over as like the popular thing to go to and the popular thing to kind of hang out at. So we've come to a specific place that was like the cornerstone of this laneway before it became big to get some dumplings.
Judge us. There is nothing worse than wasting a meal when you're on the road. So we tend to turn to places like TripAdvisor or Google reviews to figure out where we want to eat. And when one of the top places in Phnom Penh happened to be a dumpling house, we couldn't say no.
So we are getting two different types of dumpling. We're getting one fried, it's like a satay chicken and it's going to be fried. I'm really excited for that. We're also getting something called not the thing I don't know. Beef dumplings with shiso sauce, which is supposed to be like a sesame seedy, soy saucy, really yummy sauce, and we're getting those steamed.
Sorry if you can't hear us, it is on and popping. It's a Saturday night and everyone is out of the laneways. I'm so glad we came here though, because I had no idea that laneways like this existed in Cambodia. Every time someone else's plate comes out, I'm like, bring it to me. I believe this is the beef one. That beef is so tender, but it is so flavorful, but also really mild. You're gonna really enjoy those, I think. And you can tell they're all homemade because they're slightly different shapes and sizes.
The other way we know that they're like homemade is because I ran into them when I was on my way to the toilet and I saw them actually making them. We haven't had the chicken ones yet, but you should get the beef ones. They are really, really good. I'm not very good at describing food, and if you watch this channel, you know that, but yum yum.
These dumplings we got fried, and they are chicken satay flavour. I don't think I've ever had a dumpling that is that flavour. They have the satay sauce on top, and there's this tiny kick to it. I can handle it, so probably anyone can, but it does get right up to the level for me.
So the Basak laneway was already super busy, but I saw multiple signs saying that it starts kicking off at 8 o'clock. Like they have DJs and things coming in very, very shortly. So we're getting out of here.
Grandma and Grandpa went to bed just as the party was getting started because tomorrow we're going to the islands, baby. Today, we're making our way from the busy streets of Phnom Penh to the island paradise of Koh Rong. To get there, we'll need to take a tuk-tuk, a bus, a tuk-tuk truck, and a ferry. With nothing booked but our first bus ticket, we thought this would be an interesting travel day.
The hat's on. That means she's preparing for seasickness.
But didn't expect it to turn out half as dramatic as it did. So yesterday we thought we would be heading to Vietnam right now. Jordan was going to book our first night's accommodation, and that's when we realised
I may have messed up. We can't get into Vietnam for 5 more days.
oops.
Meaning we are pretty much stuck in Phnom Penh with no plans, no hotel, and nothing to do.
But then we thought, why not take advantage of this extra time in Cambodia and get away from the chaos for something completely different?
So, instead of going to Vietnam, which we can't do anyway, we are heading south to a place that some people call the Maldives of Cambodia. It's not going to be an easy ride though.
And the tropical paradise of Koh Rong stands 220 kilometres. It's currently 7:45 and I have no idea when we'll be checking into our hotel.
So if you clicked on this video because you want to know how to get to Koh Rong, you've come to the right place. Yesterday, between going to that museum and finishing with the night cruise, I spent hours and hours and hours researching the best way to get there.
Basically, there are a few options. First, what we'll call the package deal. It's on the pricier side, but you're paying for the convenience of getting from hotel to hotel. We were so close to booking this just because of how much easier it would have made the day, but then we looked at the reviews.
Next, there is the rail route. We were incredibly close to booking this one as well. It is a direct train that leaves at 7 o'clock in the morning from Phnom Penh and goes all the way to Sihanoukville. We were about to complete transaction and then we realized it takes twice as long as the bus.
And finally, what we're doing, what we're going to call the armchair adventurer. A little bit of comfort, a little bit of DIY mixed together.
First step is the surprisingly comfortable bus. We're supposed to be on here for 3.5 hours, but we'll see.
Free coffee and a cheese ? Sandwich. I did not expect this. Jordan does all of the booking in this relationship. I basically show up and have a good time. So he might have been aware that you get little treats like this, but I had no idea. And a coffee, it's hot coffee as well. Oh, doesn't get better for a morning bus. Later, and we have made it to the toilet break.
It seems pretty standard at every Southeast Asian bus. There's toilet breaks. This one is about halfway through, hopefully.
I will say there is a bathroom on board as well, so we don't actually need to use this. I haven't gone in there yet because when the door opens, when someone uses it, the smell is quite intense.
Can't recommend it, no. 10 minutes and I'm back on the bus. Almost exactly 3.5 hours later, and we've made it to Sihanoukville, but we are not quite at the pier yet.
One for comeback open for you 1 month.
Perfect. How do we book that?
You tell Bubasi.
Sorry?
You tell staff at Bubasi.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yes. Thank you.
So you know how I said we were doing like a little bit DIY, a little bit comfort? Turns out it might be a bit more or way more on the comfort dial. We have gotten off at the bus station and booked straight onto our ferry from here. They're going to take us down to the pier and then take us on the ferry across to Longset Pier, Angkor Rong, for $25 per person return trip, which is what it would have cost if we got down to the pier anyway, plus we would have had to pay for a tuk-tuk to get us there. I'm happy with that. So much easier.
I expected a lot of a challenge. I thought we were going to be running around to different ferry ports and figuring out which company is going to get us there the fastest and the most comfortable. Plus, it kind of started raining on the bus over and I was worried about ferries even going. But as soon as we stepped off the bus, it's like all taken care of. So next stop, the pier.
The bus was also quite comfortable. It was a very standard bus. I was comfortable the whole 3 hours.
One more time.
Ooh, I was comfortable the whole 3 hours.
When you arrive, you're kind of mobbed by different tuk-tuk drivers offering you to take you to the port, which is fine. Just make sure you're checking prices. Grab would have been like $1.50 American if we wanted to do it ourselves, so you don't want to pay more than $3 or $4 if you want to get that convenience. Or do what we did and just go inside. I think our van will be here soon.
Travel day in the end. We are still trying to stick to $100 a day budget. I think that is out the door today.
Once you add in the accommodation costs tonight, I think we're already at 100, and we got to eat still.
Oh, that old thing.
So the original plan was to make our own way here via Grab or getting a tuk-tuk and decide which ferry was going to be right for us. I think all the prices are pretty much the same, it's just the time. So there's a speed ferry or the slower ferry. Turns out, like Emily said, we kind of got chauffeured through and have like a package deal now, and we're going all the way to the right pier, and we've got about an hour to kill. So I think we're gonna get something to eat and then we'll get on the ferry. This day is a lot easier than I thought it would be.
I'm tempted to get Jordan to run into a couple of the shops and see if we made a big mistake or if we made a great decision having it as sort of a package deal. But I also just want to live in my bliss of believing that this was the right decision.
Live in our bliss.
Live in our bliss. We have heard that there are no ATMs and limited mini-marts on the island. So I think we're going to get something to eat here and potentially stock up because there's also a 7-Eleven. Because we have a few hours to go at the pier, there's a Cafe Amazon here. Who can resist? Whoa, not that kid.
Perfect tropical island weather. Couldn't have timed it better.
Living the island dream. We do have the return.
Yes. For the return, you keep the return, don't lose it.
Okay.
And confirm one day before.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good job. The hat's on. That means she's preparing for seasickness. To be honest, I already feel dizzy as well. We haven't left yet. It's a roller coaster. We have 1 hour of this. That was a pretty intense boat. There was a point where we were just going into the trough of a wave and I had a little view out the front and I could only see blue of the next wave. Like it was, but we made it.
How about your ferry today?
It was pretty bumpy.
Not bad though. We just checked in. It's 4:30, which means from 8 till 4:30, 9, 10,
9
11,
hours?
12, 8 and a half hours, yeah?
8, 9, 10, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4.
9 hours.
9 hours we've been moving.
Turned out to be a pretty long travel day, but we're here now.
A long travel day, but a seamless travel day.
Yeah, and like nicely broken up with rests. We're not on the beach, but the room's big enough for us.
This room is so nice, very spacious. Have you seen how big the bathroom is?
Yeah, it's nice.
There's like a gold to sink. So fancy. But I cannot wait to show you this island because it looks like when the sun's out, it is going to be glorious. why, but we didn't expect much from Cambodia. Our main reason for wanting to visit was checking off seeing sunrise at Angkor Wat. But before we even made it to Siem Reap, we had both fallen head over heels in love with this country. It's filled with some of the kindest people we've ever met, delicious food, amazing sights, and fun things to do. If you're considering a trip, take this as your sign to book the flights. We promise you won't be disappointed.